Hey everybody, good evening. It's Monday, start of another week. As we are just talking about, it's midterm week. Um, so let's see here. Talking about the week. Tonight, our primary focus will be working more and probably completing, or at least getting to the end of the Gilded Rose uh, refactoring kata that we started last week. I think this week tonight we'll really dive into the refactorings and see more of what IntelliJ can do in terms of refactoring. And then on Wednesday, we'll dive into Project 5. We'll get started on it. This is the REST API project, and you'll be creating a new Maven project for it, and it's more complex than the Maven projects that you've been working with. So we take a couple of classes to really explore and dive into this. It's also we also boy you get to cover a bunch of topics in the REST API project, like testing with mock objects. So encourage you to watch that lecture too. We'll be doing some unit testing of what are called Java servlets. It's kind of advanced stuff. But it's an important lesson in unit testing complex objects where normally they're invoked with certain inputs and outputs. And then you can mock out those inputs and outputs so you can verify the interaction that the object has. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's on Wednesday. It's always a good time to do that. And even though Project 5 isn't due for a while, I want to introduce it early enough. Also make sure that everybody can run it in their environments because again, it's a client and server, and so there are multiple moving parts. Um, but first, let's chat. How have things been going? This week, Project 3 is due. We saw some good questions about it. Also some fundamental questions. I'm glad people are asking about, hey, what exactly is the syntax of the dash pretty and how does it interact with dash text file? All the right questions to be asking. Glad you're thinking critically about the command line syntax and what it is that the program needs to do. But are there any topics I'd like to discuss? Other things on your mind, observations you want to share with me, feedback, questions, all that good stuff here. Yeah.
Um, I had a question about your late policy for the projects.
Oh, yeah.
So do we need to like email you in advance if we're gonna use a late day?
Good question. So if you're going to use a late day, no, you don't need to email me in advance. Um, when you submit the project, there's a timestamp, so I know that a project has been submitted and submitted late. I'll know it. So that's sort of the recording mechanism. Um, I'm Yeah, actually, okay. And so then I was gonna say the other thing is like, oh, hey, certainly if you don't hear back from me in a couple of days with your greater acknowledgement of it, let me know. But I wrote some automation. Actually, I just got a new tool implemented over the weekend that helps me better detect when there are projects to grade. The grading process is step one. I download all the submissions and I need to run them through the script, and then they need to get graded and I need to record the grades. And I've there've been a couple times over the last couple of years where I've sort of lost track of things. Or like, oh, look, this was resubmitted, but it was, especially it was a late project. So like, oh, let's say someone's, resubmitting the project one now. Well, shoot, I'm already moved on to project three. I might forget about that submission. So I wrote a tool that'll go off and find it for me so I don't forget. So bottom line is no, you don't need to email me. I should find out. However, please keep an eye on things. And so then if you're like, hey, I submitted something a week ago and I haven't heard back, then please reach out and I'll make sure I'm on it. Yeah.
And then work for the plan of action, the plan of attack things.
The plan of attack. Okay. Also, yeah, the plan of attack. I also get a timestamp on it because it's an email. So yeah. And actually I use that. So again, if it's late, no need to let me know. On paper, I don't accept late POAs. In reality, it's like it'll get marked as late, but I have this grading tool that where I just sort of like it's GUI and I just like go click and look at the POAs. And so then really the only thing that'll cause you to lose points on a POA is one that's like woefully incomplete, or if I've already if I've told someone not to attach like a PDF document and they attach a PDF document, I might get grumpy and deduct some points. But everybody who's done that so far in the class on POA 1 did not do it on POA 2, so everybody's cool. Yeah. Nice. How are you finding Project 3? Makes sense. Any idea? Easier, harder than Project 2, Project 1?
Just refactor test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, on the format style, sure, and I'm like fixing all my tests and whatnot, and like refactoring them in the future, so that way, like, if I have to change something again, I don't have to go through that whole process.
Yeah. Great. I think that's like I think it's a pleasant side effect, but you don't think it's that pleasant. But I mean that's an impact of changing the format of the date on the command line. Is that yep, the tests that you had for your like your integration test, presumably your integration test. Maybe there's also unit tests too. Yeah, making sure that they now work with the new date format. It's all part of real development. Requirements change, and so then yeah, and your code needs to change with it. So good. But I'm glad that I'm glad that you realized that you needed to do that. Yeah. Nice. Anything from people remote? I've got the chat open here. If there's anybody who is remote that has a particular topic they'd like to discuss, something to ask me or something to tell me, or the rest of the class. Yeah.
Yeah, for the projects for resubmissions, do we email them to you or do it on Canvas?
The resubmission for projects, just run the submit script again.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, no, good question. Yeah. Canvas, I don't know. I find it so slow. Anyway. Resubmit, yeah, on paper one time, but even though I'm being recorded, the reality is I want you to be successful with the projects. And because the projects build on each other, as you're seeing, bugs in project one, if you don't address them, they're just going to come back to bite you. So please, get things working sufficiently well. Not only will it help your grade, and of course, it'll help you learn too, which is really why we're here, but then it'll also set you up on a much more solid foundation for later projects.
I lost half a point for forgetting the customer name. So like,
Oh, yeah, the customer name being different. Yeah.
So now I made progress for assignment 3. So now I'm not sure. Do I resubmit or just?
Great question. So, okay, yeah, right. Now you get your feedback for project 2, and granted, it came a couple days after you submitted it, and so yep, moved on to project 3, which is as intended. Yeah. Okay, there's a bug that you want to fix in case, in your case, okay, yeah, you didn't detect the fact that when the customer name on the command line is different than on the file, it's an error. Um, what can you do? Sure, you can resubmit. And what I recommend that you do, because probably, as we were just talking about, you probably made some kind of significant changes for project 3. Um, you can do the following. So actually, let's just take a quick detour here.
Check out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so then exactly. Well, it's probably different enough. So if you go back to the getting started repository, it's probably under the submit. Yeah, how do I submit my projects? Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that the submit script does that when it submits, yeah, there you go. Agriculture, yeah. So the submit puts what's called a get tag on the current revision. So then it looks like, something like this. Submit project 1 on this date. Okay, and so then and when we run the submit script, it does this. Now, when you create the tag, it's just there in your local checkout in your local clone. So you need to push the tags up to GitHub. But once you do that, GitHub will have the tags. And then what you can do is you can create a new branch in your Git repository from that tag. You can make changes on that branch. And yep, fix the bug, validate that it works, get it working, then commit and push that back up to GitHub on the PSU machine, go check out that branch on the PSU machine and submit from there. That's probably the cleanest way. However, Git branching and stuff is probably new to all of you. And so then, or maybe new to some of you. So, there's a bit of a learning curve there and it's Git. And so we all know that you can mess yourself up sometimes, but I think these instructions are pretty solid. And although, and so let me know if that's something you want to do. If you want me to take a look at what you're doing, or if you have any questions, please let me know. But yeah, the intent here is that It tags the revision that was submitted so that you have a record of it so you can go back in time and make that branch. Yeah. Anything else? Good. Yeah.
I do have one. So, I can't remember from the original first week of class, but do we have an exam for midterms and final?
No, there's not a midterm exam. Thank you for asking
Just
about that.
the survey.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, I give you so much work, right? It's like you don't need a midterm exam also. Yeah, and so then yeah, what you but so I don't have a midterm exam, but I do want your feedback here in the middle of the course. And so instead what I've always done is a midterm survey. It counts as a quiz grade, so this is real. Please do it. Um, but I'm really curious about how the term is going for you holistically. I'd like you to take a step back and reflect on what you've experienced and tell me about it. If you're taking it, it's a pretty open-ended thing. My intent is that it takes like no more than 15 minutes for you to do. Because yeah, you've also got project three, and then also if you haven't done so already, the reflections on your experience with pair programming. So maybe there's your midterm, right? Two quizzes and a project, it's just plenty.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, let's go back to refactoring. So, a couple, I guess it was only last week. Wow, time flies. Um, So we spent last Monday learning about refactoring. So you watched the lecture, you went through lecture notes, and we talked about this code kata, which is all about refactoring. And the business domain here is this Gilded Rose uh, um, inn that sells various things, and they have an inventorying system. And the whole idea is that there are items in the inventory system, and they have all these properties about like their age and their value, and et cetera, et cetera. And we oh, I didn't turn off the dinghy. Oh well. Um, we watched Emily Bache's video about it, and we looked, and the code base itself is there in the cottage repository. And then to really help us understand the code, we did a couple of things. We wrote a bunch of unit tests for it. And this is like a very important thing when you're going to do a big refactoring, because one of the key aspects of code refactoring is that it doesn't change the functionality of the code. It just changes the structure, the shape. It doesn't, it doesn't change what the computer does. It changes what the human sees. And so then it's very important that, and so when you refactor, it's very helpful to have a comprehensive suite of unit tests that tell you whether or not you've broken anything while you refactor. Because you're changing the code, but you're not supposed to change the behavior. So if you have automated tests that validate the behavior, that will demonstrate that the behavior hasn't changed. Or if one of the tests fails, then oops, you've made a refactoring and changed something that you hadn't expected. So we had a bunch of unit tests. We already sort of sketched things out here just to save time. So we went through and implemented a number of these together to give us an idea of what it's like to work with the code. And then while you were working as a group, I went through and implemented the rest of them. And so then, you all did small group exercises where you looked at the code and then, tried to keep your lunch down and suggested places that could be improved. And by using this, I don't know, maybe what was in the lecture or what was in that cheat sheet, you identified a whole number of places, and this was really great, that are candidates for refactoring. And so then this gives us a plan of, hey, here are the places that we can look for code that could be improved. And then finally, we spent a couple of minutes there at the end starting to look at refactoring. And we used some of the tools that IntelliJ has for refactoring, and we'll do a lot more of that tonight. So it was previously on the joy of coding. Any reflections on this? Anything that you want to ask, talk about before we just start diving back into the code? Yeah,
It wasn't specifically with Gilded Rose, but when I was reworking on project two,
yeah.
there was an error that I kept getting where, it was either a variable name or a class name wasn't a part of the class path. And
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
that a pom.xml thing or?
Likely. So yeah, class path. Okay. Yeah, and this is something where yeah, I'll explain what the class path is, and I'll explain why you haven't seen it yet. So I think I might have mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Anyway, so we learned about Java source codes compiled into class files, and class files are the binary platform independent, well, the binary format of the Java that are of the instructions for the Java virtual machine. And they are platform independent, meaning that because you've got this Java virtual machine that's implemented for a particular operating system and hardware set, you can take that same bytecode, that same class file, and run it anywhere. Okay. So in Java, there is very so what this does is this enables that class file, it's usually a jar file, to be shared wherever. And so then as you're running your Java okay, so as a result, Java applications leverage all sorts of jar files, all sort of third-party libraries, in addition to the sort of the first-party library, the first-party code that is generated from the application. So when you build a Java application really any size, you end up with a lot of jar files to manage. And you need to tell the JVM when it encounters a class, where does it go looking for that class for the bytecode for that class? So unlike, say, a traditional C application that's statically linked, where basically all the binary code is there all in one file. Okay, you learned good. You're nodding like you understand these concepts, right? You counted that before. It's more like dynamic linking, like with DLLs and .s shared objects and things like that. So the whole idea is that instead of having one big monolithic executable that you run, you have a pared down executable. And when it goes to invoke a code from like well, a library, an external source, and that can be shared amongst multiple programs, it must dynamically resolve that at runtime. And so then um, programs need to know where to find their shared libraries. Okay. So the class path, long story, longer. The class path is where the Java virtual machine finds its class files. So the way that's specified is in a couple of ways, and this I think this is probably covered in like the review of Java, one of the very early lectures. The JVM has a dash class path or dash CP argument to it where you can specify a path. So like it's multiple directory locations, multiple jar files, and so right, separated by semicolons on Windows and colons um on Unix. Um, of like here are the places that you should look for jar files. Now, for many years, in this, well, not for many years, for several years, before I really introduced Maven into the course, when you would run your project one, you had to give it a class path and you had to go find it. And then I'm like, I really wanted to use an executable jar because what the executable jar does, at least the executable jars that we build in this class, they have like all the class files. So there it's more like a static linking model where it's like, oh, all the jar files, and we basically, you make a jar of jar files, everything is glommed together into one big jar file. That's the shading part of Maven. Um, and that works fine when you're just doing java-jar. But let's say when you run your unit tests, and let's say you're talking about project four, and you're running, which is the JDBC project, the database project, you're getting more and more dependent libraries. So if you're running your unit test for project four, you of course need your own source code, which well, actually, sorry, you need the application source code. So you need the class files for the application, the class files for the unit tests. You need the class files for the JUnit framework. You need the Hamcrest jar. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is doing JDBC, so you need your JDBC driver, all this stuff, right? In addition to all of the all of the Java code that comes standard with JDK, right? Because they're class files for Java lang string, and and Java lang, Java util linked list, all that kind of stuff. So all of that stuff must be on the class path. And as you can imagine, the class paths get pretty complex. And this is one of the things that IntelliJ and Maven are good at is managing the class path for you so you don't need to figure it out. So bottom line is that, the class path is managed by your IDE, by whatever runs your program. So whether it's all the classes glommed into a shaded jar for the executable jar file or something like IntelliJ or Maven managing it for you. And that's why you haven't had to worry about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was a lot. Okay, cool. Yeah, other things I can tell you before we dive back into the code. Yep. Sweet. Okay. Hey, remember all of this from last week? This update quality method? And we made it right, and it looks so much better than it did, but probably here in the light of day, it's just like, it's still pretty ugly, right? It's a super long method. So, let's see here. We had the Gilded Rose class. We had the Gilded Rose test. So this is a unit test that we run that we wrote. So let's go through. Good. All 12 tests passed. This is good. And there was also an integration test, as I recall. That was the, oh yeah, text test fixture. Right. Okay. And this was an important test. What this test did is it ran the main method. So the main method is like the thing that does all the work here in this uh, text test fixture. That goes through and sort of does a canonical example of, hey, it starts with a bunch of items, so well-known items of like all the types. And you give it a number of days and it just goes through then and prints out the name, sell in, sell by date, or sell in time, and then the quality for each one of those. Um, and we have a file that contains, I think it's here, yeah, that contains, here's the output of all those for 30 days. And we use this in this integration test to then compare as we make changes to as we refactor our code. Is that output, the same? So unlike the unit tests that are very targeted, the thing I like with this integration test is that it's a broad test. It like exercises all sorts of scenarios and actually real world scenarios. This is a very common because it's effective practice for verifying the functionality of a more complex application. That you have both unit tests that are targeted, and then you have more general integration tests that look at a wider swath of data. And it's interesting that basically what you're doing here is a text compare of this big text file as opposed to sort of saying, hey, when I call this Java API, this is the behavior that I expect. Okay, well, that's where we left off. I noticed a couple of you were in the document. Any suggestions on what you'd like to refactor next in this code?
Which statement?
Switch statement, so say more.
I feel like we should break these if statements and
Mm,
figure out how to, which, like,
Yeah.
which behavior is just the same, and then break those into functions.
yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, we can look at some switch statements.
Some of it needs to be switched or statements. So item dot sell in or item quality. Instead of
Oh, which line? Say more.
like line 24.
Yep.
So instead of having two nested if statements, you can switch them to one if statement with the or clause.
I like combining them.
Or pull it out and make it its own function and then pass that in.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, cool. I like that. So we got case statements, we got switch statements, we got combining some ifs. So I'm just taking suggestions. What else? What else we got?
do something like, there's like a lot of if, the name is this,
Mhm.
yeah, that's behavior. And we have something like a function that just takes in a name and says, does this thing behave like this.
Oh,
Like, because you look, I guess what you got right there, like 44 down to like 50 or something like that. It's like, okay, it's one of these three types of things, then you want to change the quality. Or something like that,
yep.
right? And so it's just like, we'll make it here. Said if this thing, you know, I guess this is not right. So that like, that's even.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like that inverse logic. It's
Yep.
like what basically you're saying is like if this thing can decrease in quality, then decrease the quality. So you just have to.
Oh, if this thing can decrease in quality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we should fix it in other ways first.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We're just brainstorming right now, right? Let's get all the ideas out there and see which one makes sense to do first.
Yeah, like at what point is refactoring just redesign? Because I feel like
Oh,
the
excellent
switch
question. Yeah, yeah,
statement
yeah.
that I suggested, right? It's not so much I'm looking at your code and like change. Like
Mhm.
I'm basically taking all your logic that I can interpret from the code and then doing a switch statement. Does that count as refactoring? Or is that just a
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Yes, understanding, the difference between, a refactor and a redesign or a reimplementation. Um, it's there's probably a line where, yeah, there's sometimes when you've crossed it, when, yeah, you just go from like, I'm renaming a method to like, okay, delete all this or, add a bunch of new code. It's not necessarily wrong, right? I'm pretty sure that, if we really want to make this more readable and make it more extensible, we'll have to do some major surgery, right? And then I guess how do you know when it's safe to take that leap? Well, once you have those tests, right? Because the bigger changes that you make, the more you'll want to validate them. And also, I guess there's, have you done enough exploration to understand, hey, what are the little wins that you can get before it's really, necessary to make some big changes? Nice. I like these ideas. Um, One thing that I see here is that there are a lot of duplicate string constants. And oh, that one's there three times. So this is just an invitation to copy and paste errors. So and it also gives me an opportunity to show off a nice refactoring that IntelliJ has. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna replace these string literals with a constant, which is declared once. So the string only appears once, but then that constant is used wherever the string is, the string literal is. And so then the way I do this is that I highlight the string, I go to the refactor menu, and I say introduce, or maybe it's extract. Sorry, yeah, extract, introduce constant. So a constant is a static final field in Java. It's all caps. And we're going to call this, well, I guess we could just use that big thing. Let's just call it backstage pass. Yeah, I'll do it again. Because guess what? No, nothing to apologize for. It didn't replace it though. Well, that's interesting. Normally, IntelliJ is smart enough to go through and find other occurrences of it and replace it. So sorry, let me go do that. Backstage pass. And then we'll do it again. Let's do it for, well, aged brie is appears twice also. And so then you select it. Oh, you can either go to the refactor menu and say refactor, extract, introduce constant, or it IntelliJ pops up this little thing here where you can say extract constant. Yep. Yep. Age free. Oh, here we go. Wait, replace all occurrences. Sorry. Okay. Now I've clicked that. It should get both of the aged breeze. And it did. Awesome. And then this guy, once again, extract constant, and we'll just call it sulfurous, I guess. I don't know. And replace all occurrences. Oh, nice. The code's a little like more narrow now. Okay. I am going to, okay, I guess, sorry, let me explain exactly what it did. So it created these constants. The constants are all declared up here. And uh oh yeah, you know what else we can do? So anyway, so now it did this. Let's just run our tests. Let's just do that from the command line. Um yeah, here we are in the cause directory. We'll just go into Gilded Rose, and we'll just do a Maven clean, Maven W, clean verify. All things considered, this is pretty fast. Yay, everything still builds. That's good. And you know what? I'm pretty sure these show up in other places too, like this test text fixture. So, oh, interesting. Like this thing has a +5 dexterity vest. Okay. Um, but let's replace this with aged brie. And so you can reference that constant by saying gilded rose dot aged brie. And here's sulfurous again. So gilded rose, sulfurous. Here's sulfurous again. Gilded Rose dot sulfurous, and all three of these are backstage passes. And again, right, the syntax that I'm using is because it's a static field, I reference it, I reference the name of the class here. Oops. Gilded Rose backstage pass. Nice. Okay, and maybe actually I don't know those. Were those also in the unit tests? Yeah, here's like an aged brie. Okay, yeah, this is good. Aged. Brie. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so I have to qualify it, I guess. Okay. Aged brie, and then Gilded Rose, aged brie. So anyway, this is refactoring. So I guess IntelliJ wasn't smart enough to go through or maybe I just didn't tell it to look in other places for it. But this is honestly, you can have AI do it for now, right? As AI is pretty good at this kind of stuff. And let's see, here's another backstage pass. Okay, but cool. What this does also is sort of get you more familiar with the code base and everything that's going on here. It's all right. It's a little, a little manual, but oops. Backstage pass, and then this is sulfurous. And yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's scrolling through, checking, changing every test case and stuff. That's good. Sometimes it's what it is. It's you're just cleaning up after yourself. You're sorry, did I get this one right? Was this that was backstage pass? Great. Okay, cool. Oops. Let's run those tests again. Cool. Okay, everything seems to be better. This is good. So we've removed like magic constants, right? And these are bad because you change it in one place, you have to go change it every place else. This way, the constant itself, the string literal itself only appears in one place, which just makes your code a lot safer. So this is good. Okay. Cool. Let's check these in and we will say introduce constants for the names of well-known items. Oh, yep. I need to merge. Oh, wow. Have I not? Oh, I guess I just haven't merged stuff in. I don't know if I got things working again. They might be broken. Well, whatever. I'll fix that later when I put together the next kata. Okay. So Gilded Rose. Nice. Okay. Update quality. So we were talking about this one before. Wow, there's like some logic here. There's yeah, there's a right, switch statement. You were talking about combining some of the logic. Um, yeah, right. So what do we want to change next? Uh, guide my hands here. I'm not sure what makes most sense to do next.
Like maybe like inverting some of the logic to make it to where it's like consistent.
Mm,
Because say like the not item dot name stuff, and then also seeing like if it's true, if it is the item dot quality, stuff like that.
yeah,
That confuses me.
not
So
backstage pass, backstage pass.
and
Right.
then and conditions and stuff, I want them to all be consistent, not like, some of them, like, intermixed are negated,
Yep.
some of them are not.
Yeah, like 23, 24, and then also 34 and 35, they're the exact same code.
23, 24,
30.
34, 35. Uh, yeah, but man, one's nested inside the other, and oh my God, this code, right? You know, so it's like, well, great. I mean, this is like, but yeah, it's like, okay, here, if the quality is less than 50, increment it. And then when you get down here, it's already been incremented. So it's like, what do you do?
Do we, at this point, I'm just wondering, is it more productive to look at this code or is it more productive to look at the business rules?
Oh, I'm liking that. Okay, no, this is a great question. So it's like, okay, we passed the point of no return, right? I mean, do we know that this functions, but we don't know how? I don't know how. I can't look at this code and really make any heads or tails of it. And so I think that's what you were saying before. It's like, hey, when do you know to start over? Let's talk about how we would start over, right? So it's like, well, now that we've explored this code base, now that we understand more about the business logic, now that we're pretty confident we've got some good tests, I think it gives us the freedom to sort of say, okay, let's consider something big. So like, okay, what what would you like to do? What would be sort of different? So like now that you've understand things like how should we approach this if we're starting over from scratch?
A switch statement with the item name.
Switch to item with item name. Okay, cool. Uh,
Yes.
well, let's start out with that. And that's a good point. Okay, great. If we're going to start over, sort of thinking item by item, like what's the first item to start with? Okay, yeah, right. Do you want to look at the rules or you want to look at the tests? Where do you want to look? Because I guess one would talk. Yep.
What exactly is supposed to happen with each item when they update it, or like when the quality is.
Oh, yeah, yeah, all that stuff. Um, sorry, what?
So for,
Sulfurous?
I think
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, remind me again. Sulfurous. It never changes in quality or sell-in. Great. It's really the only.
it's all,
Okay.
all.
That seems like a good place to start. Okay. So I kind of like that. Um, okay, update quality. So if what we'll say oh, really? Okay, so if item.name equals not rage breed but sulfurous, then what? If it continue? Okay. Oh, and look at this telling me that always be true. So okay, it's interesting that lights up. Let's just change this and see if things still work. So I'll go back to the test and let's just run all my tests again using keyboard. Oh, that was fast. Okay, good. So that still works. That's good to know. Okay. So then isn't it interesting? Like it's now saying this is always true. So I think if I say it's got some things to suggest, unwrap if statement. What does that do? Oh, okay. That's kind of nice. Right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is good. Gosh, isn't I think one of these things is like they talk about like you strangle your code, which I think is just kind of violent. But look at this though. I mean, it's like it's going away. Okay, I kind of like this. This is kind of nice. Yeah. Oh, I saw a chat come in. Kind of like the idea of starting by having empty blocks for each item with comments for what needs to be done in each case. Oh, you know what, Aaron, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that too. I think it has a nice plan for it. So yeah, okay. Nice. Okay, so we remove these things and let's run those tests again. Okay, all that still works. Not surprising because that code like never executes. Let's just run everything just to make sure. There have been so many times, I've done this kind of a number of times, and there have been lots of times where like, oh, the unit test still passed, but then that integration test catches something. But not this time, so it looks all good. Okay. Okay, that was pretty nice. I like that. Okay. So then and sorry, you wanted to do this as a case statement, right?
Yes.
Can I switch that to us? Probably can't. Oh yeah, wait, replace if with switch.
Yeah.
Way.
Way.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, look at, oh yeah, right. And they've got this syntax now. That's nice. Remind me again what that syntax is. Oh, this actually has a code block there. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Cool. Okay. This is again, good stuff. And hey, it's cheap to run our tests, so let's do that just to make sure. Nice. Okay. Okay, well then, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So let's see, introduce a switch statement. Yeah, right. And actually this is the power of the ID. This is like why it costs so much money to do it, to have the professional version. Is like this saves you a lot of time. It guides you through this stuff. It makes it go, faster and easier and safer. Okay, for handling Sulfurus. Nice. Okay. Well, so then I like Aaron's idea of maybe sketching things out a little bit. Um, so let's choose aged brie next. So I know, don't give me the answer. Um, so what's aged brie? That's true. Thanks AI. You know, one of the things. I don't remember the business logic for aged brie. What was that? Yeah, no, well, yeah, yeah, it's probably Copilot. Or whatever the built-in one for yeah. Okay. So let's look at aged brie. So yeah, what were some of the brie? So let's see, increases in quality the older it gets. And then okay, up to a max quality. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at what point is it more expensive just to write the code for it? I don't know. I mean, so like actually, Aaron, for Agebury or something else, like, do you have a nice articulation of the business logic for it? Right. So I guess it kind of comes from I guess it could come from the README too, or something. It was the oops. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Gilded Rose requirements. That's where it comes from. So like what's Brie? Um yeah, but it doesn't tell me how much it increases by. Oops. Wow, let's see here. Oh, and then we should have used polymorphism. Yeah, that's where we're going, Aaron. No, I wanted to, yeah, you guessed. Um, sorry, let me get this out of the way. Backstage press is like age breed, increasing quality as the sell-in date approaches. Quality increases by 2 when there are 10 days left. Well, but this is different. So that's for backstage. Like what is the description of aged brie exactly? Let's see here. Is it just those two? So I guess it increases by 1 in quality as it gets older, up until it gets to 50. So it should increase in quality until it hits 50. Is that the right articulation of it, do you think? That's 27. Oh, lines 27 and 28. Sorry, here. Yeah, it increases in quality by 1 until it reaches 50. Right? Do we think that's the accurate articulation of it? Okay. So that means what? That means stop. Well, I guess yeah. If item.quality less than 50, quality plus plus, break. Break? Break? What break or continue?
Is then the for loop.
Okay. I was confused. Oh, it's telling me that it's not necessary. It's saying break statement's unnecessary. So yeah, I think it's also like this syntax here like automatically breaks. Because yeah, I mean I hate putting break statements in. I always feel like I'm writing like C in 1978. Okay. So yeah, we think that logic's right. So as long as the quality is less than 50, increased by 1. Okay. Let's run our unit tests. Oh, it failed. Nice. Okay, age increase in quality. Which one's?
If selling is less.
Oh, okay. And I'm gonna sell in less than 5 until
Less than.
okay.
That's
Oh, so its quality doesn't start going up until it's 5 days until its selling date? Yeah, where did you get the requirement for 5?
Well, mine is line 46 of that previous. It was like one of the conditions.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, right, great. So we're looking at the old code. Let's do that. Yeah. So yeah, let's just take a look at aged debris. So all this nonsense. Okay. If it's not this and not that, that's regular quality. If it is, it's 43 now, or just the general. So like for all this stuff. Okay, so if sell-in is,
Line 36.
you are correct. That is backstage pass right there. Okay.
Or the age
Right. Yeah. So like, okay, so why did this one? Yep.
It increments there, and then you go to the sell by date, just below the code there, right, or just settlement date, and then
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
also, um,
So it does it twice.
yeah, and then it's drives.
Yeah, so am I. Well, it's a good point. We don't decrease the sell-in date, so we need to do that. Surprised it didn't. Well, I guess for self first it didn't matter. So we do need to decrease the sell-in date. This dot sell-in. Oops. No, this dot item. No, not this dot item. Sorry, item. That's sell-in minus minus.
And this would be like another repetition of that.
Yeah, it should just be plus equals 2. Does it increase by 2 every day?
If the selling days, that thing, well, it's not, because you go down there, there's a, it's less than 0. Where's that? Yeah, 55 says, all right, if you're past the selling date, then we give you another bonus.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, so as long as it's less than 50, increment it anyway. Well, I guess, yeah, less than 50. And is it sell in is less than 5 or as long as it's greater than 0? And then do you increment it by 2? Like, what is this test?
That's the fun part about this. Your breed either goes up in quality 1 or 2, depending on selling date.
Yeah, so then,
Yeah, according to the rules, it increases by 2 if there are 10 days or less, by 3 if there are 5 days or less.
for the brie or is it
For the
that's the tick? Right, we're doing brie.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, all right.
then no, it's just never want to be and not.
No, so why did this one fail? So it was expected 1, but was 2. Oh, it's probably, wait, which one? It was the quality was 2. How did the quality get to be 2 before? That's weird. But isn't it great that we have tests to find this stuff for us? So, okay, so now I'm confused. It was this. Let's see here. Oh, because we maybe didn't increment sell-in, but we only did 1 day. In that test case, it was 0. And the quality got oh, okay, wait, no, sell-in.
Oh, because on line 33, I think the second argument that you pass into the new item
Mm-hmm.
is 2. And it's
Sell-in is 2, quality is 0. So then after 1 day, the sell-in should be incremented to 1 and the quality should be incremented to 1. Sell-in goes down by 1, quality goes up by 1. Right? Yep.
It's stopping it. Right. Right, if you put continue in there, at least past that unit test.
Oh, okay then. Maybe so you're yeah, right. We're missing a continue here. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, okay. Sorry. Well, you know what? I might have heard break. I apologize, but thank you for speaking up again, right? You gotta, right? Yeah, you gotta remind us that okay, if there's something that you see, say it again. Cool, excellent, cool. Oh, it's nasty. Okay, so we think this is right now. So as long as it's less than 50, we increment it by 1, and we always increment the sell-in. Good. Okay, that passed. Okay, and look again. Okay, now we've got all this aged brie stuff that we can get rid of. Okay, excellent. We'll just go through and clean this stuff up. Oh wait, this is interesting. It's a backstage pass. Really? Oh yeah, because I guess it was what?
Now, after we got those two items, we just have backstage pass and everything else is just.
Self, maybe. Well, yeah, maybe. Let's find out. Okay, actually, sorry, I want to run my tests. I didn't run the integration test. Now I want to do that. Oh no! The integration test failed. Huh. This is where it gets really hard to debug. Yeah, let's go. Let's go run the integration test and see what we get for output. It's always a mess. Oops. Oh, no test were found. Oh, wait, it's not load. That's a new one. I wonder if I just need to do a clean. Yeah, you do a Maven clean here. This happens every once in a while. The when you run the clean verify because it runs with code coverage, the class files get a little messed up and it really confuses IntelliJ. So you sometimes just need to do clean and rerun. And okay, good. Now we get the assertion error that we failed. Expected this big guy. Now, do we have a? Oh, this is so rough. Oh, sometimes there's a depending on. Oh, we don't have. Oh, darn, it doesn't give us a comparison. So let's see here. What can we do? What can we do? How about this? Let's debug this, and maybe under the debugger we can see the results better. So let's see here. Um, actually, how can we do that?
I get that any three not increasing after fire.
Oh, that's okay. If yeah, oh actually, oh, what happened there? That's not what I wanted to do. Um, say again?
I think H3 increases by one more quality after that was a button there.
Okay. So then it sounds like we have a missing unit test, honestly, is what it is. So let's do it that way. So like we get, it gives us this big like red light, but might be difficult to dive into that stuff. So let's go through and look at the test. So okay, say it sounds like we've missed a unit test here. What is the what's let's write that unit test. What is that? What do we need to validate again? Like after it's sell by date, what happens? Great. Okay. Oh, after sell by. You're right. We don't have anything about the sell by date here. So after sell by date, aged brie, stop. Aged brie, what increases? Yeah, quality of aged brie increases by 2. Quality of aged brie increases by 2. Increases by 2. So we have an aged brie who has a sell by. So if it's 0, and let's just have it start off at 0, I guess. So that aged brie, we update the quality. After that, the sell-in will still be 0, I guess. Sorry, what? I can't remember. Is that how this works? Does sell by ever go negative? Yeah, it does. Okay, good. And then the quality goes to 2. Is that what we think? Okay, let's see if this fails. And I hope it does. It did. Expected 2, but was 1. Okay, you guys are, yeah, you guys are on top of it. Good, good, good. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to comment this out. And okay, I'm going to restore this. Good. Okay, so no other changes there. I did that so that it's kind of like it's like, well, I guess it's kind of red, green, red, then green, then refactor. Yeah. Let's run this. Nice. Okay, so that does work now. So clearly, there is a bug here because it doesn't handle that case. So this is good. So now we'll comment these back. We'll get rid of these comments. And so what do we need to do to fix it? So the sell and date minus minus. Oh, maybe this is why it Yeah, maybe that's why we had sort of like that nested thing where it got twice. Okay. What's a better way for us to express it that way? Comma doesn't help me anymore. So it's like what? The if the quality is less than 50, let's say quality, oops. Well, geez, sorry. Quality improvement equals, yeah. Okay, oops, I will spell improvement correctly. And okay, so so the sell in is less than zero, then it goes up by two, otherwise it goes up by one. And then we want to say quality, and then we want to, oh, sorry, what?
Plus or equal quality.
Yeah. And the sell in always goes down by one. Let's try this.
So if your quality is 49, and you're something,
Uh-oh.
no, it's zero.
Nice. Well, here again. And what do? We write a test. No, right. So this is test from development, and this is so important to do in refactoring, right? Because what are we doing? I'm really glad that you caught that because none of our other tests. Well, actually, no, let's find out. Would the integration tests have caught that? Sorry, we should have seen it. No, they didn't. Oh, okay. So good thinking. Glad that we had that. Yeah, this is why it's good to work together, right? When we do mob programming next week, you'll get to see this. Okay, so sorry. After sell by date quality equals two until it hits 50, until it reaches 50. So yeah, so what is it? It's sell by date and it's already got 49. And so then now it should be 50 and not 51, correct?
Yeah.
Right, because it's already 49 and its sell by date has passed, or it's added sell by date. And so then the sell in goes to -1, and normally it would go to two more than that, but now it should stop at 50. Right, the max is 50. Okay, and it's failing, expected 50, but I got 51. Okay, this makes sense. And so then how do we fix this? Thought max, yeah. Oops. Of quality improvement or 50. Oh, you're right. You could call, yeah, that was not right. Um, what did you do?
Either way, just claim the, claim the values.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And set it to 50
Oh.
above 50.
Like this, maybe? The quality equals the maximum of the quality plus quality improvement or 50. Wait, max or is it min? It's just like I'm no good at this. Still fails. Okay, so yeah, I think we want min here. Yeah. But good. Tests tell you. Again, that's why I love tests. You don't have to think very hard. Good. Okay. That's looking better. This is good. And see, refactoring isn't always easy, but when you've got the tests, then you've got that safety net that allows you to work confidently. And as we go and implement more tests that we add to it. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, and now we can start getting rid of some of this other stuff. So let's see here. Age debris. This is always going to be true because it's here anymore. Okay, it says backstage pass. Okay, that one is interesting. Um, no more aged brie. Yeah, this is nice. Getting rid of all this stuff. Okay. Sweet. Okay, we'll run our unit tests again. We'll run all of our tests again. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Excellent. We've got aged brie. Aged brie. 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 Okay. Okay, what's next? Backstage pass, sulfurous. Actually, sulfurous there isn't really called out, so I guess it's just normal. Oh, you're right. Sorry, we did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess backstage pass is next. Okay, good. So let's follow the same pattern. So like, okay, oh, the logic here is really complex or comparatively complex. So like this thing. Oh boy. Okay, so let's get this in our Gilded Rose. So we want to say case backstage pass, and we will this. Okay. Backstage pass is like HB, increase in quality as the sell date approaches. Quality increases by 2 when there are 10 days or less left, and 3 when there are 5 days or less, but quality drops to 0 after the concert. Okay, so how do we implement that? And actually, let's see here. The quality can never get above 50, right? So here again, we kind of got the same, yeah, as above, and then item dot sell in minus minus, and then continue. Okay. Now, okay, what do we do? So increases in quality as the selling approaches. Okay, so the quality increases by 2 when there are 10 days or less. You know what? Okay, anyway, sorry. Okay, so how about we say something like, what's the new quality? Oh, we can just do quality improvement again. Okay, that's the wrong logic though. So quality improvement is okay when sell-in days is less than when they're in 10 days or less. So when they're 10 days or less, it increases by 2. Otherwise, yeah, this is like getting you can, and you're basically doing Lisp at that point, and I think it's gonna look, yeah, right. So let's just have a real statement, a real if statement. Okay, so if sell in item dot sell in is less than, well, let's see here, less than, we gotta do this one first. So 5, so when it's less than or equal to 5, then it's by 3, so quality, oh, well, I'm just gonna see. Oops, come on. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Yeah, I think that's right. That looks good. Let's see, when it's less than 5, it improves by 3. Else, if it's less than 10, it improves by 2. Otherwise, it's just normal. Okay, I like that. And then I think we want the same thing up here. Item dot quality is then the min of the quality plus the quality improvement, or 50. Oh, drops to 0 after the concert. We need to include that.
You could, I don't know if you care, but you can pull out the if 31. Since it's already gonna be planned anyways.
Yep, no, that's a good point. And can I do that up here also, do you think? What?
But
No, I like that. So, okay, although I saw someone in chat, test that first and put the rest in an else block. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. I think there are, boy, I hope there would be tests there, but maybe not. Good point. Um, let's run our tests. Oh, something failed. Oh, wait, no tests were found. Sorry, nope, that was something different. Did that clean again. Let's run our tests again. New Gilded Rose test. Let's run all of our tests. Oh, but okay, a bunch of stuff stops. Okay. Oh, this was okay. So backstage pass drops to 0 quality after concert. Okay, well, we didn't implement that. I guess we kind of knew that. Backstage pass stays at 0 when quality already expired. Okay, again. Okay, it looks like definitely it's okay. So we have to implement that. But the other stuff seemed to have passed. So then, so sorry, what was that? Its sell-in date is this. So let's see here. If the sell-in date is 0, then the quality is 0. Yeah. Yeah. Item dot sell in is 0. Sorry, what? Oh, that was age breathe. Thank you. Good call. Is 0. So if it's already 0, then, and actually, should we do less than? Oh, yeah, we should. Wait, no, Cell is less than 0. Sorry? Less than or equal? Yeah, it does seem a little safer that way, I guess. Presumably it would have gone past 0 at some point, but yeah. And then they have that sell it and continue. I don't know. I want an else. That's exactly what I want, but I want it to be correct. Okay. Um, else if item quality is less than 50. Yeah, does that help? Does that get it right? That got it right. Okay. Let's run the integration test and see if this makes still passes. Ooh, that still passes. Okay, this is pretty good. Pretty good. Now let's go through and get rid of these guys. Ooh, yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah, that makes it a lot cleaner, doesn't it? This is a good approach. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so let's run the integration test again. Let's run the unit test again, and I think we'll be good. Nice. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's getting much cleaner. I like this. Yeah, okay, this is good. Um, let's see here. And then this was Backstage Pass. So actually, was it Aaron? Someone suggested. Yeah, yeah. So Aaron suggested that we should have used polymorphism. Aaron, do you want to say more about what that means exactly? And feel free to come off mute if you feel comfortable doing so. It'll probably be more effective to do that. Or you can just type it in the text.
Uh, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sound good. Let me turn it up. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like having a basic, kind of like typical inventory item, and then for the special cases that we have, we can just kind of extend or derive from
Subclass.
that. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Want to give that a try? Yeah. So let's see here. Like one of the rules was that we couldn't change the item class, but we can subclass the item class. So I think, because I think Aaron's onto something here. We have a big old case block, but this is still pretty big and pretty long. So I guess we could look sort of the before and after. And okay, I'll take out this comment. So, yeah, definitely shorter, but it's still a lot. And you still got these case statements and things like that. And, to me, this seems like a natural fit for objects because you've got, a type that has some base behavior, but then you've got these more refined types that have, yeah, different behaviors. So let's make ourselves a class and do the following. Okay. So we're going to want a subclass of item that then we could actually will have multiple subclasses of items. Yeah. Okay, and let's see here. What item has just those two fields, right? So yeah, got the name, the selling, and the quality. Okay. Okay, so like what if we did something like this? What if we had actually, yeah, let's just okay, what if we had a um well, like a sulfurous type instead of that sulfurous name. So if we said the following. So um if item instance of sulfurous. Did I spell it right? I don't know. Sulfur AS. Sure. Thank you. Great. And so I want to then create this class in this package in my main code. Great. And it's complaining that you cannot convert sulfurous to an item because it doesn't extend it. So, oh, I can't, it doesn't let me make sulfurous extend it. Fine. Extends item. What doesn't it like? Okay, now there's no zero argument constructor. Fair enough. Okay, here's something I want to do though. Ultimately, okay, so the constructor here, I'll just create a, let's see here, constructor matching super. So good, now it's happier, and you got to pass in the name here. Now, the name for sulfurous, they're all going to be the same, I think, right? And so then, now the name of sulfurous is right here, and it's in the Gilded Rose class. Well, it doesn't really make sense for it to be here anymore. So what I want to do is I want to move this class, this method, this string over to the sulfurous class, and I can use IntelliJ to do that. So I can say refactor, and I can say move. Where is it? Change signature. Here we go. Move members. Okay. So I want to move the sulfurous string to the sulfurous class. And what this will do is when it moves, it'll find all the occurrences of it and move those over too. So now if we, oh yeah, look here now it refers to it as sulfurous.sulfurous. If we go back to our text fixture, good. Now, these lines are modified because they refer to sulfurous. So good. So this is another thing that you can do with intelligence refactoring is like move things around. It's good. Okay, so now when we create a sulfurous, we don't want to provide a name. Instead, what we'll do is we'll always use sulfurous as the name. But different instances of sulfurous can have different cell and days quality dates. Okie dokie. Yeah. And now we want to do the following. We want to go back and, okay, now we want to change all the places that we created just a generic item with an item named sulfurous with an instance of the sulfurous class. So what we can do is basically want to find all occurrences of sulfurous, which we of course do with find usages. Great. And now it tells me all over the place. It's using this case statement. We'll want to remove that eventually. But here are a bunch of unit tests that we then want to say instead of this, we'll say instead of new item, we'll say new sulfurous 80, oops, geez, 80 0. Nice. Okay, so now let's go and find some more occurrences of that. This is just another way to, again, sort of move code around. So new sulfurous. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, sulfurous. Where else? Let's see here, that one. Oh, yeah, and here in the, okay, so good. So new sulfurous, new sulfurous. Okay, nice. Okay. I'm gonna rerun the tests, but I don't know if we've really made an interesting change or not. Well, everything still passes, but it's probably not so interesting because we still have this right here. So let's see here. If this is if the item is a sulfurous, I guess we just continue, right? Because there's really nothing to do here. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's really nothing to update, but we could. Yeah, we'll say that for the next one. Okay, so we handle it polymorphically right there by basically, okay, we'll take this switch statement and kind of replace it with these instance ofs, but then we'll do something a little bit more interesting later. So we'll get rid of that right there and see if that still works. Okay, it does because sulfurous never changes. Okay, not so interesting. Let's try it with age 3 next. Oh, but actually let's run all of the tests. Let's just make sure that everything still works as expected. Great. Okay. Introduce a class for sulfurous. Oh, I didn't add it to Git. Add to VCS. Good. Oops. sulfurous. Okay. Let's do it for aged brie and make it a little bit more interesting. Oh, question there. Can each derived item have its own update quality method? Yes. I think that's where we're going, but let's refactor our way to that as opposed to prefactoring our way to that. But yes, yeah, and yeah, Aaron, you got it dialed in. That's exactly where I think we should go with this. So now let's do that again for aged brie, but as Aaron points out, let's have all this logic be contained in the class itself, in the aged brie method, the aged brie class itself. So else item instance of aged brie. And we'll do that whole thing again. Oops, we'll give it enough stuff that it doesn't, yeah. Ugh. Create class aged brie in this package. And we'll just go do the thing again. Oops, extends item. And we will create the constructor. We'll do the thing here. Get rid of that. Actually, sorry, we'll move the other thing over first. Okay, so here again, kind of some manual repeated stuff. Oh, else if. Yeah. We'll move aged brie over. So we'll do refactor move members, and we'll move it to the aged brie class, and all that stuff's there. That's good. Now, yeah. So then aged brie. Why isn't this? Oh, this guy just get added to version control. That's kind of obnoxious. Add to version control. Okay, now we want to replace this name parameter with, and sorry, you just watched me do this. It'll be a little slow, so I'll go fast. We will find all of the usages like right here. Okay, and actually we'll say, can I just do our search and replace, I wonder? I bet I can. I'm gonna replace that string with new aged free like that. Let's do that. Did I get it right? Let's scroll up to find it. That looks pretty good. Let's replace all. Nice. Okay, here's where we're using like text tricks. So sometimes IntelliJ like can just do the refactoring for you, and other times you gotta do like, text stuff. And then go back to aged brie and look at where this guy's used. I think there's one more of them. Yep. So I think I can do that same replace again. I don't know if it doesn't remember it, but I can go back in history, say new item aged brie, replace that one. Looks pretty good. And actually, what I can do? I can make this private because no one else is using it. And actually, that would be a nice check on it. Oh, so maybe somebody is using it. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so I can't make it private just quite yet. Good to know. Huh. But it did highlight a usage, right? Okay, here again, using the language to like, find things. Okay, so I changed this. I'm going to rerun my integration test, still okay. I'm going to rerun my, sorry, where's my Gilded Rose test? Okay, I don't think I need the requirements anymore. Gilded Rose test went off the face of the world. There we go. And I'm just going to run all of these just to make sure. Good, they all pass. Okay, and now I want to go back to Gilded Rose. And yes, okay, we are going to take this logic right here for aged brie and put it inside a method. So then we're going to have I don't want that, aged brie, we're going to cast it, and then we're going to say aged brie update quality. Yeah. And now I'm going to create that method over there. I'm going to create it. I can't change the item, so I'm going to change to aged brie, but I think some of you might be a step ahead of me. And then we're going to take this code. I'm just going to cut it because the whole thing will be gone here in a moment. And then I'm going to paste it over here. And instead of item, I'm going to replace that with this. And I probably could do a search text and replace too. Text search and replace, but I think this is all right. Okay. And then Gilded Rose. And oh, I need to continue here. And I don't need this aged brie anymore. Oops, what is it like? Oh, more stuff. Okay, cool. Let's run the unit test again. Let's run the integration test again. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. We have passing tests. I am going to commit this, but then there's some more refactoring. It can be done. Age degree. Yep. Push it up. Okay, I think we saw some more opportunities for, yeah, why is this yellow? Can we replace with a pattern variable? Oh, right. Yeah, there's this new syntax where you can say that. That's nice. Yeah, that way there's not a cast anymore. That's cool. What's this switch saying right here? It's saying switch statement has too few case labels and should probably be replaced with an if statement. Okay, sure. Lots of changes. Okay, that's neat. We'll get to that shortly. Let's just run the integration test again, and let's run the unit test again. Okay, all nice. Um, okay, so then I want to do backstage pass, and then we'll start looking at some object-oriented refactorings. I know we've been going straight out, so I'll try to finish this up soon. Okay, so once more with feeling, a couple more refactorings. Okay, we're going to do backstage pass next. So again, that's that same thing. Essentially, it's going to look just like this. Sorry, what did I put on my head? Sorry, I need one of these. Okay, instance of backstage pass. Backstage pass. Okay, we'll just try to go quickly here. Create this extends item. Extends item. And then we will, I'm doing this blind. There we go. Make a constructor, go back, move the, yeah, sure, we'll just create that method. We'll get to it later. We will move backstage pass over to there. I'm using quick keyboard shortcuts now, go a little faster to backstage pass. Yay, clean, code's getting cleaner. I like it. We will do backstage pass, always has the same name. Backstage pass, we'll get rid of this. We'll go through, oops, I did the, yeah, I did it the wrong way, didn't I? Backstage pass here, and now get rid of this guy. Nice. We'll go back and I've got to add this guy to version control. Go through and we'll find all of these usages of backstage pass, so many of them. And we'll just say we'll replace this guy again with new backstage pass. Yeah, I don't need to know that just keyboard shortcut. And now I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, I know. And it says they're just a little too long. Backstage pass. Replace all. It looks like all that passes. We'll just run that. Was that?
Oh, I was just thinking,
Oh.
we were going through this, like, is there not like a then command where you replace old phrase with new phrase? And I think just
Yeah.
a button that was curious about.
Okay, wait, all this passed now. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, wait, why did this pass? Oh, because I invoked the method and I have the continue. Okay, I haven't moved the logic into the method yet. That's why all this passed, well, all this fails. That's fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna move all of this stuff over to the backstage pass update call. Oh, I guess I didn't. What happened there? Oh, that's what I took out of it. Okay, sorry. Update quality. And then put all that here. I'm going to replace item with this. I think that's okay. Nice. Okay, so now let's try running this again. Passes. Integration tests pass. This is going way smoothly. In previous terms, it's been way rougher than this. Okay, so now I've got that. I don't need this anymore. Yeah, that's dead code. Unit test pass. Nice. Okay. So now I've got this and text Fisher IT, all passes, all passes. Oh, damn it. Something failed. What did we get wrong? Yeah, that's okay. Update quality, continue. What did I get wrong? No? Do I still wait? I know why I did. I know I did. I forgot. I still have one more instance of backstage pass, don't I? Yeah, several of them. Did not update the test fixture here. And so then this is no longer, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so then here we will get backstage pass with backstage pass. Place all sweet. Replay or run. Yay, green. Okay, good. We had to fix our tests, right? It's not always that the code is broken, as the test was broken. Good. Look, yeah, this is looking different now. Okay, this is looking good. Okay, so now that we've got this, let me go find the history, and now we'll just do one for backstage pass. Yeah.
Um, Backstage pass classes with in the Gilded Rose
Yep.
is coin free.
Oh, thank you.
It's technically worse, but it's.
Yeah, it's not as clear. No, this is good. Variable names matter. Okay, excellent. So this is good. Thank you for catching that. Okay, I got one more refactoring that I want to do. So this is pretty bad object-oriented code right here, right? Realize case statements. What should any ideas on what we should have instead?
Just call, like, update quality on the item, and then, like, the idea would be that, like, for each item, its own quality would be called.
Right. Now you can't change item, so you can't add an update quality to item, but you're on the right track here. What you need is like a superclass. So let's make a superclass. Okay. So then let's start with aged brie. Now IntelliJ has a refactoring, which is extract superclass. So let's see here. Yeah. And let's call it inventoried item. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good name or not, but whatever. Okay. And it's like, okay, you can you can create a new superclass, you can extract a superclass, and you can select what members that you want to, bring up there. We want it to have update quality. And however, we don't know what the implementation of it is, so we want to make the update quality method abstract. Okay, so we refactor that. And it's going to look for usage. Does it ever find anything? Yeah. Oh, maybe. Let's just see what it does. What is it doing? I don't know. Stop. That was aged brie. Aged brie now extends inventoried item. Inventoried item has this constructor, which is calls a super constructor. That's nice. And then it has an abstract update quality method. Good. Okay, so this is cool. We want to add this guy to version control. And now basically we want to go through and let's see here what we want to do. I guess we want to do the same. So we want to, I guess we want to say this. First we'll say if, yeah, let's have a new if statement here because we want to go first. If item, uh, instance of inventoried item, then call, yeah, and then, okay, fine. Oh, weird. I don't like that. Maybe I do. Nah, I don't. Inventoried item, and then, yep, get rid of that. Yes. Okay, so I want this. And notice what it's saying here is like, oh, this is always going to be false. So now I can get rid of this. Wow, that's ugly. Okay, but I think it works. And don't worry, all that code's going to go away anyway. Good, that still passes. Okay, and so now let's go through for both sulfurous and make this guy an inventoried item. And it's telling me that I need to implement the update quality method. Great, which is going to be nothing in this case because sulfurous never changes. And now, oh, I can get rid of this. And now let's do the same thing for backstage pass. Make it an inventoried item. Great. It's saying here that this guy, what is it saying? It's yellow because it doesn't have an override annotation. That's good. Okay, and now go back to Gilded Rose, and now this is dead code. And now we have this. Okay, so this is cool. Let's run all this. Nice. Okay. Right. Okay. You see what we're doing, right? And look at where we started tonight. I gotta stop, right? Because it's time to go. But let's see here. Introduce a common superclass for the types of inventoried items. Inventoried items. Okay. So look at what we accomplished tonight, right? And actually, there's more that we could do, but let's we can just hint at that. So wow, it fits on one screen, right? We went from like how many lines of code and how many, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, clearly, this is a degenerate example, right? But look at how what we did along the way and how IntelliJ helped. So this is an extreme example of code refactoring, where you have some truly ugly code. Yeah, it's purposely messed up. But look at all the things we explored, right? Oh, you have like the same constant all over the place. Oh, you've got, all of this like really Byzantine logic that's in duplicate code and stuff. But by taking very logical steps, because we understood the domain, right? A week ago, it was like brand new to us and it was, all a mess. But because we understood the domain, because we had unit tests, do you see how it provided feedback? And you see how our tools were able to guide us in terms of noticing things that we probably would have noticed without the tool. Like, oh, by the way, this thing's always going to be true. You can get rid of it. You can simplify it. This is the power of refactoring and having a static language that can be analyzed, and it can, tell you things. What we can probably do is you'll go even further and introduce a new kind of inventoried item that would have this for its update quality, and it just called generic item, or whatever it is, right? You can see where we can go from there, and all of a sudden, poof, this code now we can follow the rules. We didn't change an item, but instead we worked around that in order to make our code much smaller and easier to read. And hey, if we want to spend another session, we would then add the new conjured item, whatever, I think you can sort of see how to do that. Nice. Excellent. Anything else before we break? Yeah.
Yeah. One last, can you show me one more time how you made this class? Like,
Yeah. Yep. So it was, let's just go to a class. So I go to the class declaration here, and I said refactor, extract, introduce, and then superclass. You can also do things like extract interfaces from, a bunch of method signatures. You can also extract a method, which I guess I didn't. We might see this in the coming weeks.
is there upcasting, downcasting, like there is in C++, or
Well, there's,
sort of like
I
decide?
can never remember which way is which. I think it's downcasting. I mean, so we're doing it here in Gilded Rose, right? We're doing instance of, and actually this is an implicit cast. I think you saw that. Yeah. You don't upcasting is implicit. If you have a variable type object, you can assign anything to it. You don't need to cast it to an object because it is an object. The compiler knows that. But yeah. Cool. So on Wednesday, we'll get an introduction to Project 5. We'll see the REST API. And that so on Wednesday, we're basically setting it up and walking through the sort of what you get out of the box. But then we'll take a detour through mob programming, but we'll come back to both the REST API program and refactoring 2 weeks from tonight. And we'll go through and take that out of the box um, uh, project and refactor it into looking something more like your phone bill. So that'll be a different, so that's not so much about code cleanup as it is code evolution to basically take something that is in one domain, it'll be some simple dictionary domain, and then start to make it look like something that's a different domain of phone bill. Another kind of refactoring. Nice. Excellent. Any other topics you want to explore? I didn't give you a break and you all deserved it. So awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll see you again on Wednesday. And just to be clear, since we're not doing bobbing or pairing, if it makes more sense for you to be remote, feel free to do so. It's a pretty important one, though, because it kicks off Project 5, and I want to make sure that everybody can at least create their Project 5 Maven project, and we get it working in their environment next week. Great. Have a good one, everybody. Bye now.